Good evening, Rams. I'm Kenneth Frederick, and we're here doing candidate profiles for the upcoming ASCSU elections. I'm joined here tonight by Sam Moccia and Haydyn Deason.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
So we're so happy to be here. My name's Haydyn Deason. One more time, my pronouns are she, her, and hers. If you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Sam Moccia. I'm running for a position of student body president. He, his pronouns. We're super thrilled to be joining you in this kind of last moment write-in.
Oh my gosh.
Chaos. It's been a really fantastic experience so far. So thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. Should we? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. Would you please tell me a little bit about your campaign? What are you guys running on?
Here, I'll start from the beginning. So currently I'm a senator in ASCSU for Warner College of Natural Resources. And we actually met just this year as Sam was the senator for the College of Agriculture, and it was really awesome. We got along right away. We're both super passionate about sustainability and accountability, all of the above, and we've gotten to be friends. And I think one of the things I really appreciate about Sam and what I'm confident about is how well we work together. He's such an amazing guy, and we were getting coffee yesterday, or bagels, and we were talking about how this campaign is being run uncontested right now for the presidential campaign. And that's kind of a lot, you know. Anything that's being run uncontested, I think, should be challenged, right? And so Sam being Sam, immediately we talked about whether or not we want to work together, and he said, well, would you eventually maybe run for presidential campaign with me? I said, absolutely. And Sam being Sam, immediately went to work on that, called me yesterday afternoon, are you being serious about running with me? And I said yes. So now we're here.
Yeah, and it's an idea that we'd really considered for a long time, but I think we've worked a lot in student government. We're really good friends with a lot of the folks who've been in there. We know Elijah and Rob are two of our competitors really well, and have absolutely nothing against the whole space. It's a great space, but we never really had any reason to get involved in the mix other than the background work. But we're really big believers in just the biggest point about student government and representation of the student body is having as many people on that ballot as possible, and having as many people to kind of contest that space and make it as competitive and as honest as it can be. And like Haydyn said, we've always worked really well together. We're super involved in the sustainability space, and that's the main core of our campaign, is all of these topics around sustainability and what growth looks like in our community and our space, not just of the environment, which is a lot of what we do, but of the student body. That's truly what we're focusing on here is, our generation and our classes exist in this incredibly intense space where all we talk about and all we focus on are the pressing issues of tomorrow. We don't talk enough about how to sustain us. We're the lifeline of the progress and the work that goes on next.
Yeah.
And we care so deeply about humans. That's why we get involved in this stuff. We don't really have that much interest in a lot of, we don't care that much about position titles. We don't care that much about what sort of room we're being in. What we care about is that we're around people and we're doing what we can for them. That's really become our platform. That's always been what it is. And you would think that a campaign that was entered this last minute would have a hard time finding its roots and what really we were running off of. And it was pretty instant. It was really immediate that we cared about sustainability of the environment and of the student body, because that's all we've done. That's what we've done from the beginning. So
I agree. And I think as we were brainstorming our campaign last night, we kind of came to this conclusion of what's kind of going to be the tagline of our campaign, which is fostering growth, right? And so not just growth within CSU itself, but within sustainability. And we were talking about what are we passionate about here, what is something that we see can be fixed, and something that really resonated with me is the idea of making CSU so much more interconnected. And so that goes for FSL, that goes for ASCSU, that goes for our SDPS offices such as NAC, BAC, all of the above, right, APAC. And we were kind of talking about how a lot of people are really stuck in their corners and their cliques here at CSU, and we want to make people, I suppose really foster the ability for people to move between those spaces more easily and get more involved, because that's one of the biggest things I've noticed having been in a leadership position, multiple leadership positions, is not very many people are involved. And CSU has so many resources, and it's so awesome that That's one of my goals for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the community here, since we've been involved in sustainability, Haydyn's been doing this as a senator for a very long time and has been passionate about it for like way longer than that. We build these networks, like we do it inadvertently. We talk to people, we get to know friends, like we cross these bridges on our own. The idea of like, I think a lot of people have to go into campaigns and into office, like these spaces, building it along the way. They're putting these things together as they're flying, and that's like, we didn't have to do that. We realized the moment that we decided to launch this, we have these networks built because that's what we do. Like we're bridge builders. That's what we've always done in our jobs. And I really love that. Like there's this community here that's just so passionate about making things matter and about taking care of one another and about growing the campus. And that's just absolutely thrilling. And like the idea that we could just be the voice of all those communities and that network that's intertwined around us is like, it's like the dream. Like that's all you can really hope to do, right? Like so.
Yeah, and that reminds me of something that I hear our current student body president, Christian Deason, say all the time, is this idea of servant leadership. And, to be a leader is not to have a title, and it's not to be able to tell people what to do. It's not to have power, but it's to serve and help the people who you truly love and the people who you connect with. And for us, that's the CSU community. I tell people all the time how grateful I am to be able to go here and to, be able to meet all of these wonderful people. And I think we were talking about before we came in here how struck we've been just in the past 24 hours with how much support and just wonderful, smart, engaged people have come forward to help us and talk to us. And as a write-in candidate, it's not going to be super easy for us to win. It's definitely an uphill battle. But if anything, we have just been shown with amazing magnitudes how wonderful the community is, especially within leadership in student government. And that's another thing that we want to bring forward a little bit more is how much student government does. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I think something else that we kind of discussed is like qualifications-wise, we hadn't taken so much time to consider this position out of like a lack of feeling experienced and qualified. I mean, Haydyn has more experience in student government here and in leadership and in peer-to-peer networks on this campus than quite literally anyone I know. And that's what like she's done since the moment she got into the dorms, and that's all she's done in sustainability and Sustainability Coalition, in Warner and all these spaces. And in my time, like working in various kind of state and nonprofit, like government-related work has been, we realized very quickly over a bagel conversation that we were like, we really have a lot of experience. Like this would not be a stretch for us. And it's an exciting thing to realize that wasn't what our goal was to find some sort of role that we could just like dive into. It was realizing that we've got a base already. We've got the experience. It's just, now we've got a chance to show it and to really offer that to the student body. That's exciting. There's not a lot of positions you can do that in. So.
Yeah, and I want to make it clear, I'm running for vice president. Sam is running for president. That's awesome. And, speaking of experience, I was at a meeting last night. It was crazy. Right after we decided to run, I decided to go to a club meeting and just let people know what was going on. And I said, who here knows Sam Moccia? Half the room raised their hands because everyone loves Sam Moccia. Anyone who's met him absolutely loves the guy. And, what I immediately said is what we're all struck by as soon as we meet Sam is he is just the gift that keeps on giving, in my opinion. He is one of the most... genuinely, like he is one... I will say this not on camera. I'll say this... I'll say this like to anyone. I think Sam is an incredibly qualified, smart individual who cares so much about people. That's one of the first things that I was struck by. And, I say gift that keeps on giving because he doesn't tell you all the amazing things that he's done right away. I mean, you worked for, 2 years in mental health awareness and suicide prevention. He's currently the director of the Student Sustainability Center. And on the side, which is just an awesome bonus, he's a wildland volunteer firefighter. And I didn't even know that till a month ago, and I just found out. It's just, the gift that keeps on giving. It's never ending with Sam Moccia. He's so incredibly smart and I think capable. I said to someone last night, like, yes, I believe in my ability to, let's say we do win, my ability to win this, or not win this, but like do this job. But I more believe in Sam Moccia, and that's why I want to work with him.
But that's so much of like what I think is terrifying and like really worrisome about a lot of what student representation can be, and what ASCSU has been years ago, I think, is like, I'm just one person on this campus, and you give me way too much credit, first of all, but like the amount of incredible stories and incredible individuals on this campus, and people who just have layers and layers of incredible work and dedication and passion and interest in their topics and their things, and you never hear about them. Like, that breaks my heart, and that's something that the previous administration and that Gebra Sadek and Deason have done so well, is highlight those stories. Like, the people of CSU are everything. They are absolutely immaculate. The work that, I mean, you guys do, like the work that everyone who comes into any sort of spaces is so much beyond what you would ever expect. Like, we assume college is about studying, and sure it is, but the layers and the work and the projects and the passion that everyone brings here, like, we want to highlight that. Like, we want to vocalize that. And student government's the space to do it. Like, if there was ever a place where we can point out the amazing work that everyone here has done, that this campus has to offer, you know, where we want to highlight those voices every way we possibly can. There's plenty of them.
Leadership is about uplifting people and
fostering.
Yeah, fostering growth. Fostering growth, uplifting people. You know, I want to make it clear, we're not running for. It's part of why we waited so long. Is we were like, well, someone else will come and, you know, step up to contest, make this election more of a contest, or, you know, be in the arena with people. But when we realized no one else was stepping up, well, other than, you know, Rob and Elijah, we decided that we could do that. And I think that's kind of also what about leadership is stepping into the role when it's needed, not when you want to or when you're ready. Yeah. And so, yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
That's our spiel.
That's our spiel.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, what, 12 minutes long?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I hope that answers most of what people would be curious about, but we really want to hear from anyone. I mean,
absolutely.
We spend a lot of time in these networks and among things, but that doesn't mean we get to reach everyone. Like, that's part of what these positions would offer, is the network, the ability to connect with so many more people than we already do. Would just be amazing. Like, it would be amazing to hear new stories and hear new ways we can support students every day of our jobs, and that's what this can be, which is super thrilling and super just like exciting to even think about what president and vice president could really offer to this campus. Yeah, so I mean, I hope that answers most of what you had, but I'm curious kind of what else.
Oh, really quick. If any of you want to vote for us, we have to be written in, not clicked on as an option on RamWeb. That's April 4th, 5th, and 6th. Ending on April 6th at 4 p.m. Is when voting ends, and you'll have to write either Sam and Haydyn in, or Deason and Moccia, or Haydyn, Deason, and Sam Moccia, or Sam Moccia and Haydyn, Deason, or Moccia and Deason, you know, any of those. Moccia is spelled Moccia, not with the
Thanks.
SH.
Yeah.
Anyway, any questions for us? Sorry.
Absolutely. You guys have talked a lot about sustainability and stuff, but I think what you hit on the most important was just the running unopposed aspect in student engagement in general. Could you tell me, if you are elected, what is one thing that you would do to increase student engagement, especially when it comes to times like the election, for voter turnout, and engagement with ASCSU in general?
Well, I think tapping relevant networks is a big thing. Like, we know that the reasons for voting, the reason for involvement changes from the group's priorities, right? And a lot of the times I think we assume that everyone will just find their own reason to vote. I don't think that's necessarily always true. You know, people need to be encouraged and pushed that their topics, the things they care about, are relevant on this campus, and that voting can impact them. And I think that tailoring that, being really specific and honest with the groups that we work with, getting to the root of why people are passionate about what they're passionate about. I think that's like something we have a huge issue with in student government, is making people realize that student government isn't just about, it's not for the poli-sci kids, it's not just for the people who want to like run for office later, it's for everyone. It's for anyone who's interested in representation. Like, that's what voting really is.
Absolutely. And it'll be a issue that I'm sure whoever is elected will have to face in the coming year. But thank you so much for your time. We're actually out of our 15 minutes.
Thank you.
But we will be presenting the election results live on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Please join us here at CTV 11 for that.